You're watching White Mountains TV. I'm Chris Prue, coming to you from the White Mountains TV studios, and my guest at this time is Dan Houde, the publisher of MWV Vibe. Thanks for joining us, Dan.
Great to be here. Thank
Summer edition of the Vibe is on newsstands now. Looks fantastic. The photography is incredible as always, and you guys are chock filled with great stories this summer.
Yeah, there's more, seemingly more. Each edition gets bigger and bigger. I think we went over 100 pages this year.
Keeps growing.
This summer. And, we have plenty of content. There's just stories coming in all the time. People call and say, hey, I got a great story for you. So we'll always have plenty of content to talk about. And, if you haven't seen it yet, it's available 250, 275 areas around the valley.
Yep.
Supermarkets, probably the easiest place, but it is free. And it's advertiser supported, so we always try to get people to visit our advertisers if they can.
Absolutely.
But if you haven't picked one up yet, it's also online at MWVvibe.com, and you should check it out.
You're going to feel guilty taking one of these for free out of the newsstands because it feels like a, as you described, it's a keepsake. This is a keepsake publication.
It is a keepsake. We really want people to hold on to it. There's stories in here that you might read now and say, oh, I want to hold on to this until next year or whatever it is. But people are holding on to it. They're kind of collecting each edition.
Yeah.
And you'll see it now. It's in lodging properties and the Airbnbs and the restaurants and coffee shops. So it's great. It's getting out there. Our writers really work hard at researching these articles. These are, we dig a little deeper than all the other potential publications that are out there. We just try to go a little deeper. We try to back it up with good visuals, and so it's a lot of fun. It's a good read. Read it for 5 minutes. Read it for an hour and 5 minutes.
Right.
Doesn't matter. There's always something in there for just about anybody.
Or grab it and store it on your bookshelf, because you collect enough of these and you have an encyclopedia of the White Mountains. So whether you're into hiking or whether you're into beer, you guys have a great beer section in here. You collect these, and next time you want to go for a hike, you can read a great article on
Absolutely.
options.
And we try to cover history. We try to cover the kids in the valley making a difference. We try to cover the cool events that we do, and there is so much going on. And it's not just like a North Conway publication. It's Bretton Woods, it's Tamworth, it's Freiburg in Denmark, it's Berlin, Gorham. So by all means, there's plenty of information that's out there. North Conway is going to happen by itself because there's so many cool things happening here, but we really work hard at making sure we hit the outside of the valley.
Looking at a photo right now from one of your stories, I think this is this is rock climbing for families.
Yeah,
right?
This is family rock climbing with IME. They have a great program there where you come in as the family goes, and they bring you over to Cathedral. And so we actually did this last fall. We did part 2 this spring, and we used a local family. They had a great time, and the folks at IME will take care of you no matter how old the kids are or whatever. So that's good. So there's a lot of stories like that that reach out and kind of work with more of the family type thing, or even if you're here as couples or whatever, we have something for everybody. You had mentioned the White Mountain Brews and News. We have 6, 7, 8 local breweries in the valley and on the outskirts of the valley. So we do a quarterly story on the local brews and what they have to offer. We always do new photography with the cans there. We try to get all the newest and greatest creations from the Hobbs and Saco River Brewing, and even we go out to Bethlehem. We cover Reckless Brewing and Schilling and Littleton. So we reach a little bit further out of the valley, but it's worth it because these guys are doing really good things.
The photography, the imagery, the layout, this is just a beautiful publication. It's enjoyable to read. I'm looking at an article here. We got Donna Dolan from Tin Mountain Conservation. Great story on owls.
Yeah. We have quite a few owl species here in the valley, and I always felt it'd be kind of neat to talk about where they are and what they look like, and where they're hanging out. So Tin Mountain and Vibe have kind of joined forces to create some wildlife articles here, and hopefully that'll continue in the future as well.
It's so fun. You hear certain animals at night, or out when you're hiking. It's really cool to actually get a close-up look at what you're hearing and learn about it. So
absolutely.
Next time you hear it, you know what you're listening to.
Yeah, exactly.
And let's see, all sorts of stuff. Trail tenders of the White Stewards.
Yeah. So basically, if you haven't heard, it's the 200th anniversary of the Crawford Path. And there's been a lot of stories on that, so we just didn't want to make another story about the Crawford Path. So we basically started reaching out to different organizations. And when you're out hiking, and you really kind of just step back and see what's ahead of you, and there's some really beautiful creations out there. Well, these hiking trails are maintained by people, and they're mostly volunteer organizations, and nobody ever talks about them. So we basically went out and we figured out who all these organizations were, and we created a great map with the help of the Trail Collective, the White Mountain Trail Collective folks, and REI, and we created a really cool map that basically shows who all the organizations are. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but there are logos and all the addresses of where to find these clubs. If you do want to volunteer to be a trail tender, you certainly can. They're always looking for help. And these are all the trails in the White Mountains. Of course, we took 2 or 3 of their select trails. There are quite a few more. But the point being is that our trails need work, need constant maintenance, and these folks do incredible work on the trails. And they're not getting paid for it. They're going out there and they're working, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 miles into the forest, and they should be recognized.
The list of writers keeps growing. Great feature stories. Check it out. Vibe. It is on newsstands around the Mount Washington Valley. I know you are already working on fall, if not winter.
We're working on fall and winter right now. It's a quarterly edition or quarterly publication, and you can always go to the website if you want to know where you can find it. There's a link that'll show you all the different places where you can pick it up for free.
And that's MWVvibe.com?
MWVvibe.com.
And before we let you go, a lot of the photography that we see in here is actually yours, Wise Guy Creative, Dan Houde. Give us a little background on the cover photo for this summer's edition, because this is eye-catching.
Well, I've been shooting in the Valley for quite a long time, and have kind of built up a gallery of photos, and so I'm able to use a lot of particular shots that were taken a few years ago. This particular shot is up in Jackson. If you ever headed to like Black Mountain or in that area, that shot is on the left, and I just happened to catch it during an outburst of these crazy wildflowers and sunset and all that. And but we do support the arts in the Valley, and we do support other photographers, and so we're trying to bring in more photography. I'm getting tired of using my own stuff, so by all means, if you're a photographer and you'd like to share, or if you'd like to know how we can work together, just give me a call. But we're trying to support local music, local art, local youth, just a little bit of everything, and it's working out really well. It's probably why it's 100 pages.
All right, well, it keeps growing for good reason, because people are loving it. Publisher Dan Houde from the Mount Washington Valley Vibe, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we'll be back with more on White Mountains TV.